Hey guys, so I went dark and I love it. It's like a dark chocolatey brown and like you can still kind of see my blonde like with the highlights, and I love it. It's so perfect, and I'm so excited for this new change. So this video is going to be my April wrap-up. I think I read about 11 books. April was definitely not the best month for me. I mentioned a couple videos back that I had surgery on my mouth, and so I just wasn't in the mood to read and felt super slumpy, and then I just wasn't able to make content, and that was really frustrating because my face was so swollen and I really couldn't talk. So I felt really bad because I had so many great plans for April that I just didn't get to. But now that May's coming, I'm super excited. I can't wait. I'm participating in a couple of readathons, so I'm definitely going to be vlogging for those. So I read, I think, 11 books this month. It was a mixture of different reads, so let's get started. I'm going to talk about, these are all going to be out of order. The first book I'm going to talk about is Kitten by Sophie Lark. This was like part one of this book. So she's doing this book through her Patreon. And it's very dark, and it starts off with our heroine. I think she's in college, and she's very, very poor, and she's dating this guy, and then like something happens where like his friend, like she gives his friend like does some things with his friend, and then the friend pays her for it. And then she's like, wow, I could really make money off of this. And so she decides to go looking and seeing where she could make money from sex. And she finds this ad to play a kitten for like this guy in his house and actually be like a cat. So it's really interesting. It's only like the first part, so I don't really know what's going to happen, but I'm very intrigued. So the next book I wanted to share with you was Scandal in Spring by Lisa Kleypas. I read this because I wanted to finish off this series, and I knew I could get a great historical out of this one. So this one is just so sweet, and it was really fun and hilarious. So our heroine is the last girl in the Wallflower group, and she needs to get married, and if she doesn't get married, like if she doesn't pick a suitor by like May, her dad gets to pick somebody for her, and she already knows who he's gonna pick, and that is Matthew, our hero. She really hates Matthew, but I don't really understand why. I think it's because he's so much like her father, and she really dislikes her father because he never really understood her. And so when Matthew comes to surprise her on this country trip, this trip in the country of England, she is like shocked by how different he is, and he's trying to like win her heart over, but he doesn't want her to fall for him because he has a secret that could really ruin their relationship. And so I really enjoyed it. I gave this one 4 stars though. I definitely liked more of the other books in the series, but this was such a sweet, fun conclusion to the series, and there was a little bit of mystery with his secret. But it felt very like insta love once they first like got together, but I did really enjoy it. Okay, and so the next book I read this month was Lover Avenged by J.R. Ward. I first rated this 5 stars, but I think I'm gonna rate it 4 stars. The reason is this is I don't even know what book this is in this series. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is the 7th book in this series. And it was really slow in the beginning, like the build up, and I felt like the story wasn't as focused on their romance, and it just felt kind of off. This is a vampire romance, and it felt a little bit like 50 Shades of Grey for some reason. Like the beginning, how they were like getting together and stuff, and he was really pursuing her, but I did really enjoy it. But something's going on with like the king, and I got kind of annoyed with like that side plot. So I'm going to give this one 4 stars because it was a slower book in this series, but the next book in the series is John Matthew's story, and I cannot wait. I've been waiting 8 books now for his story, and so I'm really excited because something happens with Zex, I think that's how you say her name, and she needs some help getting out of this situation, and I'm really interested to see what's going to happen. And they had a lot of development in Love Revenge, so I'm really intrigued. So the next book I read was Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher. So I read the fine print a couple months ago and enjoyed it, but didn't love it. But this one I absolutely loved. I give this one 5 stars. It was incredible. So this is a marriage of convenience, and this world is kind of like, it's like another amusement park. It was like if Disneyland didn't exist, but this existed instead of Disneyland, and it's called Dreamland. And I really enjoyed it. And so it's a marriage of convenience, and like the night where their engagement party is supposed to happen, the other girl who's supposed to be in this marriage of convenience drops out because Declan, our hero, is very grumpy, and he probably said something to make her drop out. And so his assistant Iris is like, I'll step in, I guess, because this is just a agreement and we'll have a kid together, but we'll figure that out. And so she steps in as his new bride, and they have great banter together, and they get married, and they both don't want to fall for each other, but he really falls for her first. Like, kind of where he starts to realize, like, oh, this could really be something serious. And so he starts doing all these, like, fake dates to hang out with her. And, like, really, it's a real date, but she doesn't know. And I really, really loved it. I thought this was such a fun story. And I loved each of their quirks, like how she loved plants and why she loved plants. And why he would do certain things in the workplace to help her because she has a learning disability. And so I just love this book so much. Okay, and so this book was actually the last book I read in April, and that's Indigo Rich by Devney Perry. I read this because I was just in the mood for a small town romance, and it definitely hit the spot. So our heroine, she is new to town, but not like new, like her grandfather is the mayor, and so she's always visited the town, and so she's becoming the new chief of police. And her first night there, she has a one-night stand with this guy, and she just thinks he's a local. But then the next morning she goes to lunch with her grandfather and like the most influential family in the town, and he is a part of that family. And it was hilarious seeing them react to each other. But then later that day, one of the workers on the ranch finds a dead body of a girl. And so it's very mysterious. She has to find out what happened, but there's been a series of suicides in the town, and they think it's just another suicide, but she has like a gut feeling that it's not. And I really enjoyed this one. I gave this 4.5 stars. Like, they did feel very secure in the relationship for a little bit of the book, but like I also loved how like the third act breakup, like they were very like realistic about like their problems and really talk through it like adults, which I really loved. And I just really enjoyed this book. I like the mystery aspect. And like how they finally got together. But what was interesting is that nobody ever mentions is that it's kind of fade to black in the beginning. Like when they have their one night stand, we don't even see it. It's like the next day, which I thought was interesting because I've read another book by Devney Perry and that doesn't happen. So I don't know. Okay, so these next 2 books I reread because I was just in the mood, and I was in a slumpy mood. So I was like, let me just reread 2 books that I know I love and maybe it'll get me out of my slump. So I reread Lawless and Soulless by T.M. Frazier. I love these books. They're so good. They follow the same couple. It's a motorcycle romance book. And I mentioned it a couple times on my channel, but I love that book. So our heroine, she gets into a sticky situation, and she needs his help, and so he helps her, and it's very steamy, very good, absolutely love it. And then the next couple of books are all a part of the Fallen Men series. So, hold on, let me grab them. Okay, so these next couple of books are part of the Ball and Men series. I'm reading them for the readathon hosted by Jess and Tori. I'm so excited that they did this, and I had so much fun rereading all of these. So I reread Welcome to the Dark Side, Zeus and Lou's story. It's an age gap, motorcycle romance, of course, fantastic. And then I reread Good Gone Bad. This is a police officer slash princess of the MC romance, and I really loved rereading this. I just love HR and Danner. They're so cute. And then I reread After the Fall. This is Cress and King's story. They have another story in this series. So emotional, but so good. And then my favorite, Inked in Lies. I love this book so much. This is definitely my favorite in the series. I still need to reread Dead Men Walking, but I tabbed this one, and it's so, I love the tabs. I'll show you one of them. So this one, okay, this is just a random tab. So let's see what it says. Okay, this one says, I realized my hands were on, okay, not that one. Let's see. He uses very inappropriate words. Oh, okay. Here's a good one. He planted flowers all over my body, inside the cage of my ribs, and the fertile soil of my heart. Yet he never noticed how they bloomed just for him. So, if that's any inkling of those books, because they're fantastic. But that is my wrap up. Pretty short. So I wanted to thank you guys so much for watching this video. April was so chaotic, so I hope May is going to be a lot better. But I'll see you guys soon, and I'm excited for my May content. I hope you like the new hair. I love it too. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye.